Hey everyone, it's Jasmine with Real World Mental Illnesses, and today we're going to touch upon alcohol use disorder and connect that to one special TV character. We're going to go with an overview first, learn a bit about the symptoms, treatments, prevalence, etc. So for the symptoms, here are some. Constant craving to drink alcohol, spending much of your days drinking or dealing with the aftermath of drinking, such as hangovers, having difficulty in cutting down drinking. Maybe you set a goal to drink this much less, but you really can't stick with it. Having denial about the problem. Maybe you refuse to believe you have a problem when people confront you about it. Having a greater tolerance to alcohol, meaning you drink so much that you no longer feel the effects unless you drink a lot of it. So just drinking a little bit won't give you the effects that you're searching for anymore. And feeling the physical and mental consequences. Of course, there are more symptoms, but these are some of the more popular ones. Prevalence. So I saw that 1 in 10 Americans over the age of 12 have alcohol use disorder. I think that's especially concerning with the age part because that could mean that a 13-year-old has alcohol use disorder. So really, it could be a teenager or an adult. Importance. Well, I think that this is especially important to cut down on the drinking because up to 3 million people die every year as a result of alcohol abuse. 3 million is an insane amount, and if we weren't abusing alcohol, that means that many less people would die every year. So here are some treatment options that seem to be especially useful. So there's group therapy / support groups like AA, Alcohol Anonymous, and I think we see a lot of that on television and stuff, and it seems to be very helpful because you're able to share your struggles with other people who are in the same exact boat as you. However, that might not be enough. Maybe you need to pair this treatment option with, for example, oral medications. Naltrexone is a very popular one that kind of helps you to stop feeling the craving towards alcohol, and eventually, I guess in a sense, it's like taking away your appetite for alcohol. But there's a ton of other oral medications that your doctor would prescribe to you if you were truly diagnosed with alcohol use disorder. There's residential treatment programs, and then there's individual therapy like CBT therapy, which honestly, under any disorder, whether it is OCD, depression, anxiety, you're probably always going to see CBT therapy as an option, and it really just helps you rewire your brain through talking, essentially. And for this video, I'm excited to say that our character connection is one of my favorites. It's Bree Kamp from Desperate Housewives. So just for a brief background story, Bree Kamp is a housewife who, in the first few seasons, we see she's a very perfect housewife. She cleans, she cooks, she's just the most neatest, most organized housewife in the town. And I think a lot of times when you see a character this perfect, you have to wonder, well, what's it really like in her head? And after she deals with a great amount of loss, such as her husband's death, and then also having huge troubles with her son who's acting out, she ends up reverting to drinking. Now it begins with just a little glass of champagne once in a while, but then she develops a reliance on it. Whenever she's tired, she'll drink some alcohol. Whenever she is upset, she'll drink some alcohol. And if she's upset all the time, that means she's always drinking alcohol. So we're going to see some clips of her being in denial over her problem, clearly just drinking uncontrollably, and the effects of drinking, such as just passing out. And we're going to see all of that in some clips I'm going to show right now.
Boys.
So in this following clip, we're going to see how when Bree is babysitting, she even drinks then, and she will later get caught.
Can you just keep it down just a little bit because I have a very special type of grown-up headache.
We need to see Mommy and Daddy. We want to play them our song.
Honey, you can't. They're at work.
Well, can we play for you?
a moment, okay? Oh. All right, boys, let's have it.
Now, in this clip, we're going to see that Bree has fell asleep because of how much she drank while she was babysitting, so she's not going to be able to keep track of her friends' kids.
Boys? Boys?
Now, in this clip, this is the next day, and eventually, Lynette, Bree's friend, who it's her kids, Lynette finds her kids because she gets a call from some random store that her kids are there, and now she's gonna confront Bree, like, what happened, you know?
Hi. You recovered from all of yesterday's excitement?
Oh, truthfully, I haven't been able to get my mind off it. What a scare, huh?
Yeah. Although I still can't figure out how my boys managed to sneak past you.
Well, you know how boys are at that age. They're escape artists.
They're like lightning. It's just Penny.
Penny?
Well, I mean, I just don't understand how Porter and Preston managed to wrangle her into the stroller and then make it out your front door without you even noticing. I guess if you'd fallen asleep, could have happened like that, I guess.
You know, I think I must have been cleaning the kitchen, and I just didn't hear them because of the noise from the dishwasher.
Look, I apologize in advance for how this is going to sound, but I have to ask it. It's just going to eat away at me. Were you drinking while babysitting my kids?
No. Oh, you know, I may have had just the tiniest little bit of Chardonnay.
Oh, gosh, you got drunk and you passed out.
Lynette, if I close my eyes even for a moment, it's because of these antihistamines I've been taking.
Really? Is that why you passed out on your front lawn yesterday morning?
Now, here's a clip of what happened yesterday morning.
Bree? Bree? You okay?
As you can see, even the previous night and the night before and the night before, she was passing out, having drunk too much. And here is a clip of all of Bree's alcohol bottles being lined up on her doorstep. Her friend took them out of her trash and put them in her doorstep to show her how big her problem is.
We're so taken aback that we may fail to recognize the truth.
Her drinking continued to get worse and worse until she was just drinking dozens of bottles a week, and at any instant she had any trouble, she would turn to alcohol. Again, it makes sense given her circumstances. Her husband had recently passed and she was having extreme problems with her son, but her new reliance on alcohol led her to developing alcohol use disorder. But on the bright side, again, like I mentioned, there are treatment options, of course. You can deal with addiction. And here we see Bree in AA. Oops, sorry about that.
People she didn't know.
My name is Bree, and I am an alcoholic.
And this was her AA group. Seems like about a little bit over 12 people, or maybe closer. Anyways, I think there's about 15 other people in there. And they're all there with the same problem, and that makes it a little bit easier to get over your problem. It's always easier when you have people fighting the same battle with you. So while her drinking problem developed in season 2 and she was able to manage that, at that point, 2 to 3 years later, it started to cycle back because of new arising life issues. It's easy for her to lean on alcohol whenever she had a new life issue. This was her first relapse.
Bree! Oh, for God's sake, get up! We have the garden club lunch and... You've been drinking? Go away. I don't feel well.
That little clip almost shows the exact symptom that I mentioned over here. Let's go back. About spending much of your days drinking or dealing with the aftermath of drinking. She's in a hangover and she's neglecting her duties. She has to cater lunch, but she's neglecting her duties because of how she's dealing with the aftermath of drinking, because you don't feel great afterwards. And basically what we saw there was 2 years later she had a relapse. And relapses are going to be very common with an alcohol use disorder, but you just have to get back on your feet and try to break that cycle. Because again, there are wonderful treatment options, and like anything, of course, it'll take time, but these treatment options truly do work and they've helped millions. And treating alcohol use disorder will lead to millions of less deaths every year. I hope you enjoyed this video with Bree Vandekamp as our special main character focus, and let me know what character we want to focus on in the next video, what disorders we want to learn about, and I hope you enjoyed.